Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into loading again with the 450 Bushmaster. I had initially intended on putting this load workup in with the first one, but it just got way too long. So this is going to be kind of a part 2 of the load workup, and this is the load that I will be using for hunting in Arkansas. Let's jump in. All right, folks, so I looked up the data for those Hornady XTPs, and sure enough, the 450 Bushmaster is going to be pushing them way too fast for good expansion and penetration at close range. So what I have picked up are the Barnes 250 grain TTSX. These come in boxes of 20 and they're like $27 a box. So they're kind of expensive bullets, over $1 a piece, but that's what we're going to be shooting. I called Barnes and talked to them about expansion velocities, and they say that this bullet, which is, as you see on it, designed for a 450 Bushmaster, expands down to 1,500 feet per second. And there is no maximum velocity on that. So the faster we can push this thing, the better. Let me show you this bullet here. That is a pretty long, neat looking bullet there. And here's what it will look like loaded into the case. I've loaded 5 rounds at Barnes exact specs and at their maximum listed charge weight of 38.1 grains. Now, keep in mind that that load, that published data is supposed to be safe for use in AR platforms, and this is going to be around 30,000 PSI, between 30 and 35,000 PSI, which is a lot lower than an action like this CVA single shot or a bolt action could handle. So this is going to be the starting point. I'm just going to see what kind of velocities we get out of this barrel here with that max load, and then I may bump things up a little bit. But I wanted to see how these shoot and how they group at the published data load, so we're going to check that out. This first shot here, I seeded about 10 thousandths too deep by accident. We're just going to shoot it. From doing shooting with other loads, I know that barrels can sometimes take a few shots of a copper bullet before they really settle into group. So these will just be kind of the zeroing load for this bullet. I'll probably take 2 shots, make a scope adjustment, and then take the other 3 and see if they group whatsoever. And we'll get some velocity data on this too. So I do only have 40 of these bullets, so this is going to be probably a pretty short workup. I would like to get it done within 1 box of bullets. Let's head out to the range and see what these do. All right, folks, I don't think I mentioned inside, but according to Barnes, the velocity should be around 2180. Let me throw their load data up on the screen for you here so you can see. They were testing with a 24-inch barrel on that load, and I believe this barrel is 25 inches. So it should be fairly similar there. And yeah, 2185 is what they're quoting with 31.8 grains of little gun. We'll see what we get here. I'm predicting somewhere around 2,200 feet per second. And according to some Hornady ballistic calculator data, which I'll throw up on the screen here, at 2,200 feet per second, we should be dropping down to that 1,500 feet per second range at only 150 yards. I would like this to be capable of 200 yards, and I'm not going to be shooting anything at a range where the velocity will be below 1,500 feet per second, because again, I want that good expansion from the all copper bullet. So if this only shoots 2,200 feet per second and this is the load we go with, 150 yards is going to be the max range. We have to go up a full 200 feet per second to get the impact velocity at 200 yards to be over 1,500 feet per second. That's a big jump. 200 feet per second is a big jump, and I don't know if we're going to get that. But before I speculate too much, let's just see how fast things are going at muzzle velocity. I do not have a target camera set up there yet because, again, I don't have this exactly zeroed and I don't know exactly where it's going to hit. Okay, the recoil on that was actually pretty pleasant, and we're shooting 2188. Pretty much exactly what Barnes predicted, and I'm pretty close to the center on that shot. We'll just shoot a quick group here. That's pleasant enough, I may be willing to limit my range to keep that load. It's got a thump for sure, but it's not near as intense as those last loads we were shooting. That was 2244. So we've got an extreme spread of 56 feet per second on just 2 shots. Again, we're not shooting super long range with this, so it shouldn't matter a whole lot. Even in that 200 feet per second jump, the difference of impact location at 200 yards was calculated to be only about a half MOA. So even if our velocity spreads are all over the place, we shouldn't be getting too much variation in bullet drop. From what I can see, it's a nice tight little group, and that shot was also 2244. I think it was exactly, here, let me take a quick look at this. Okay, the last one was 2244.9, that one was 2244.7. Probably just a fluke. I'm aware that my positioning on this rest is not altogether consistent today. I really need to get this rest screwed into the bench. That was 2240. So that first shot, you'll remember, was seated 10 thousandths deeper into the case. I don't know why that would make the velocity, 50 feet per second different, especially slower. Not really sure what's going on there, but I'm liking this consistency without that first shot. And that was 2235. Okay, that's some really good numbers there. Let's go take a look at the target. All right, folks, that's not bad at all. My hold is just kind of a rough hold on the center of the black. At 10 power, I can't see the ring, so I'm roughly holding for there. And a 2-inch group at 100 yards, I am absolutely thrilled with that. I'm happy with that group. I'm really happy with the velocity consistency. What I want to see here, because we do have some bullets to experiment with, not a whole lot, but we've got a few. I want to take 3 shots jumping up in 1 grain increments and see what the velocity difference is. I want to see, could I get to 2,300 feet per second? That would give me an additional 25 yards of effective range. That would get us to 175 yards as a max distance. Am I probably going to be shooting that? No, I'm going to be in Arkansas. From what I know, I'm going to be kind of deeper in the woods. But if I can get 2,300 feet per second and have the recoil be similar to what it is now, or just a little bit spicier, then that'd be pretty good. So let me do that. Let me load 3 shots at 1 grain increments, and we'll just see what happens. I'm just kind of messing around and doing some experimenting here. So there's a portion of the video that got cut out here. My audio had a horrible buzz through it, and it was not tolerable to listen to. But it was a section I thought about cutting out of the video anyway, just to spare you guys that pain. I did work up with the Barnes TTSX all the way up to 2,400 feet per second. There were no real pressure signs, everything was fine, but it was throwing a shot kind of wild here and there, like 4 inches out. So I decided to drop back down to the main charge. Again, all of that I would have put into the video here, but the audio was unusable. So we're gonna skip over that for now and jump right to the end where I retest the original load with the 250 grain TTSX. I did also shoot some with the Hornady Black factory ammo that was also in the batch of video with the corrupted audio, and it shot to about the same point of impact. In fact, exactly the same point of impact as the TTSX, so you'll hear me comment on that later. That's what I'm talking about, the Hornady Black factory ammo with the 250 grain FTX bullet. All right, folks, I have made a decision. Time will tell whether it's the right decision or not. But I got to thinking, the Barnes max load is good for us out to 150 yards. I wish I had some ballistics gel to extra confirm that, but the data listed max load shoots nicer, it groups decent, and the higher charge weights that I was testing that were getting up in the 2,400 feet per second range were throwing a shot every once in a while. The decision that I came to was to go with the Barnes data. And that's what I've got loaded up here. Chances are that I will not even be able to see more than 150 yards in the area that I'm hunting. If we do decide to hunt a field edge or whatever, if there's any available on public land down there, then the possibility may exist, but chances are slim. I've never killed a deer past 130 yards, ever. In the probably close to 30 deer that I've killed in my life, which I know isn't a lot to some of you guys, but in the 30-ish deer that I've killed in my life, none of them have been past 130 yards, and most of them have been within 100. So we're going with the light load. I will probably shoot it better because I anticipate harsh recoil a whole lot less with this load, and yeah, that's what we're doing. If the case comes up where I'm sitting a field edge and I've got an area that I may have deer coming out 200 yards away, I'm going to throw that FTX in, that Hornady FTX load. It seemed to be shooting decent, and it's got the same point of impact, or very, very close to what the Barnes bullets are doing. If there's a deer at 200 yards and I happen to want to shoot it, I'll throw that in, hold 4 MOA, and we'll be good. Or I could even dial 4 MOA on this. So anyway, I've got these 5 rounds out here. I will confirm this load one more time. I've got a fresh target down there. I still got a punch to it, but it's hitting right at that 2240 it was before. Okay, and it is shooting to the right. I'm going to shoot a second shot before I make a scope adjustment, and I really shouldn't make an adjustment, but I kind of want to get this thing zeroed. Alright, that hit my hat. Yeah, right beside it there. I got a notion to grab my torque wrench and double check my scope ring. Every time I pull the trigger on this, with this load, it costs me about $1.50. So, yeah, I suppose that's not as much as the Hornady factory ammo. That stuff, I bought that at Bass Pro, and I think it was $43 for that box of 20. Not getting any movement on those. So the scope's not loose, and it sure shouldn't be. 1 MOA back to the left. And we're low now. That doesn't make any sense. Nothing's moving around. It's all rock solid. I'm just gonna shoot these next 2 shots. See if they group. Yeah, right on top of the last one. Yeah, those 3 all grouped right together there. But we are like 2 inches low for some reason. And I have no explanation besides the barrel settling in. No explanation for that whatsoever. Since we didn't seem to have any change of point of impact between the 2 bullets, after my adjustments now, I'm going to take a shot with this Hornady black ammo and see if it's near the center. A little bit high, but not bad. All right, I guess I was hoping not to have to do this, but I guess I'm gonna have to load up some more of this ammo here and shoot it through to get things ready to go. Everything it's plenty good for 100-yard deer. It really is. All right, I guess I'll load up a few more of these. All right, folks, this is it. Last chance to get zeroed. After these 3 shots, I have 18 bullets left. And when I load those up, I really don't want to touch anything on the zero. I'm going to take probably a few practice rounds at a couple of different distances here, just to make sure I'm not too far off when I switch to holding my hands on the rifle instead of the rest. And then the remaining few rounds will be used for the hunting trip. So I want to make sure to have, I mean, realistically, I can shoot 2 deer. Realistically, the most that I should need would be 4 rounds. Say each deer takes 2 shots, which I would of course hope not. Hope to just need 2 rounds, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, if the next 2 rounds land there, or close to it, I'm gonna be happy enough with that 0. Ugh. Well, not the prettiest group there, but we're gonna go with it. That's the load. That is certainly not the kind of group that I would hope for. But for a 100-yard deer gun, should be just fine. And take a look at this expansion. I found one of these bullets downrange. That looks pretty slick. Of course, this was into dirt, not into flesh or ballistics gel, but it looks like it's doing just like it should. I found another one. This one's still got a bunch of dirt in it, and I broke off a few petals, but this one also looks great. Hopefully, that'll get the job done. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully that wasn't too frustrating to watch me work through. We have got a $350 straight wall deer gun ready to go for Arkansas, and that was the goal. No, it's not shooting as pretty of groups as I had hoped, and it's not shooting the kind of groups consistently that it can once in a while, but that's okay. We're gonna work with it, and like I say, that should be perfectly adequate for 100-yard deer killing. I will take shots potentially out to 150 yards if the opportunity comes along. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. Chances are the next time you'll see me will be an Arkansas deer hunting video. Whether I get anything down there or not, I'll try to publish something for you and maybe go over my camping setup as well, since we are going to be camping down there. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Y'all have a good one.